Palma. Oh,
Oh,
that's unfair. And Palma 7 points in the game.
Janelle Fuentes.
wow.
Delgado takes the shot and knocks it down. Maloria is open. Three-pointer. Oh my goodness! Face a jumper by Robin Celis. Caballero has time. Oh! Just posterized by
The Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League travels approximately 180 kilometers up north dito po sa town of Rosales in the beautiful province of Pangasinan. And at the heart of that is the Robert B. Estrella Senior Memorial Stadium. Diyan po sa gitna ng rotonda where we see two teams in the South Division lock horns dito po sa ating second game. James Una will have to step up with the absence with their key players, mainly si Abdul Sawat, who will not play today. And let's see if that will be enough against a red-hot Quezon Husker squad with Jason Opiso coming off a 3-month layoff and also his best game last time out para dito sa Quezon. Yan po ang ating magkatunggali ngayong gabi. Zamboanga kontra Quezon dito sa Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. Ken Pangilinan with Coach Mike Perez. And Coach Mike, itong Zamboanga entering into the toughest stretch of their season. What do they need to do to turn things around here?
Well, they gotta recollect themselves and go back to their first 15-game version of themselves. See, in their first 15 games, they're actually 13-2 with an opportunity to get started even at 15-0 because yung dalawang losses lang nila, very close ones against Imos and Manila, if I recall correctly. But their last 12 games rather, they've been 4-8, and that's a pretty tough stretch. And so you gotta go back to who you are. You gotta make your threes, and you gotta make your free throws.
And you're watching us live on the official MPBL YouTube channel and also on Solar Sports and on pusop.com. Let's bring in our third member for panel, our courtside reporter, Miss Andrea Endicio. Andrea, it's a sea of orange tonight between Zamboanga and Quezon. How are they coming into this matchup?
Dalawang bigating team from the South, both well-compositioned, both well-coached, but this is where they differ. Kung ang Quezon, they have been winning their past 7 games and currently they are aiming to finish the regular season on a high note and of course at the top of the South Division. Para naman dito sa Zamboanga, yes, they started the season pretty strong but along the way they faced a lot of turmoil. Samahan pa ng pag-alis nitong sina CBC, Roy Sumang at Ichi Altamirano at the verge of them coming into the playoffs. How do they plan to turn things around? Yan ang ibabahagi ko sa inyo maya-maya lamang. But for now, balik muna sa inyo.
Maraming salamat, Andrea. And it comes at a critical point dito sa kampanya ng Zamboanga in a danger spot of them falling all the way down to the play-in. Pero ngayon, tignan natin ang ating team standings. Unahin natin yung North Division. Coach Mike, nanalo yung Pasay. They get a firm hold of that number 4 spot. Later, we'll see Pangasinan 18-8. Katablang Caloocan. Pampanga won yesterday. So that's a logjam from 4 to number 7.
Yeah, very true. But if you look at that that logjam on the race for the number 4 spot, Pasay really, after winning earlier, really hopes to win against Biñano their next game, and then Caloocan, Pangasinan, and Pampanga. Hopefully, hindi maging maganda yung result nila if that's the aim of Pasay, so that they still get to number 1. But pretty much, itong tatlong teams na to, tinalo ang Pasay, kaya may advantage sila pagdating dyan sa labanan para sa number 4 spot dito sa Norte.
The race even tighter here in the South Division. 3 of the top 4 teams will play, including these two. Quezon, sigurado na at that number 1 spot, while Zamboanga trying to avoid the play-in. Rizal will play later on, eyeing that number 2 spot in the South.
Oh, kung titingnan mo nga, even Jensen, itong Basilan, actually may shot pa rin to get into the top 4 spot, and napakalalim nung labanan dyan hanggang Mindoro, and even the battle for the last spot of number 9 and number 10, pretty close between Muntinlupa, Davao, Cebu, Sarangani, and even Imos. That's how deep that run is dito sa South. Kaya, the teams that's involved in there really gotta close out strong and win as many games as they can.
Pero Coach Mike, tuunan muna natin ng pansin itong Zamboanga, no? Because they've been on a 5-game slide recently. And it hasn't been pretty, but James Una, well, he stepped up to the plate, double-double performance. And this was an important game they had to win, and unfortunately, they came out on a losing end. But James Una still provided the goods para dito sa Zamboanga.
Well, makikita mo, 17 points ang ginawa niya sa normal average niya na 6 points. He shot 70% from the field. Napakaganda niyan. Yung 11 rebounds, matter of fact, double-double si James Una dyan. Nakadalawang steals rin siya. Pero para sa akin, ang mas importante na stat para dito, 23 minutes of action pero walang turnover. Itong si James Una, including that really good field goal shooting.
Efficient shooting from the field, 7 out of 10 para kay James Una. Sa kabilang dako naman, Jason Opiso rather, para dito sa Quezon Huskers na binanggit ko na kanina. Coach Mike, matagal na wala due to an injury and had to sit out for a long time. And it took him a couple of games to regain his groove. And here, great per minute numbers. Playing only 15 minutes but contributing really well for Quezon.
Well, perimeter shooting is really one of the things that you look at Jason Opiso, and he clearly, kahit na matagal na nawala, nakita mo 85% field goal shooting on a 6 of 7 field goal make. He had 14 points and 4 rebounds in 12 minutes of action. Really, just one of the standouts that hopefully para dito sa Quezon Huskers magpatuloy itong performance na ito ni Jason Opiso.
And well, let's compare these two teams, Coach Mike, because at one point, Zamboanga was at number 1, and a huge reason why has been their play on both sides. Pero nag-dip down yan. Points scored, points allowed. They're still in the top 10 in terms of allowing points. Pero kita mo yung Quezon, no? All across the board, grabe yung pinapakita nila this season.
Well, clearly, medyo tikit na stat dyan is yung 3-point makes and yung rebounds. Medyo tikit yan because I feel that's a commonality between these two. But scoring and defending, man, Quezon still limiting their opponents below 70 points while making really good at assists, parang +2 or +3 pagdating dyan sa department na yan ang Quezon, because they like to move the ball a lot and like to make a movement a lot as well on the floor.
Okay, Zamboanga versus Quezon for our second game. Punta na natin si Miguel Torre, who's now introducing our starting lineups.
MPBL Season 7. Here are the starters, beginning with Zamboanga Sikat Family's Brand Sardines. Starting at center, number 1, James Una. Forward number 14, JC Luciano. One guard number 2, Chino Mosqueda. Also at guard number 15, Reg Gabat. And the other forward number 18, JP Kawilan. The head coach for Zamboanga is Bong Ramos. Assistant coaches Ay Lebornio, Ian Valdez, Louis Bautista, Melo Banwa, Jeff Codera, and Jose Pimentel. Team consultant Egay Macaraya. Team managers Romay Raham and Alvin Muñoz. Team governor Omar Chua. Team owners TP Cao and Honorable Congresswoman Kat Chua. Here comes the starting 5 for Quezon Huskers. Starting at center, number 19, JP Sarao. Forward number 5, Simon Sandagon. Also at forward number 77, Gab Banal. To guard number 13, LJ Gonzalez. And the other guard number 2, Judel Fuentes. The head coach for the Huskers is Eric Gonzalez. Assistant coaches Richie Tixon, Ed De La Torre, Luis Olasco, Jonathan De Guzman, Nash Rosella, Bernard De Guia, and Jeric Tang. Team manager, Attorney Don Capunan. Team owners.
Zamboanga with a starting unit of Chino Mosqueda, Reg Gabat, James Una, JC Luciano, and JP Kawilan. Quezon with a backcourt of Judel Fuentes and LJ Gonzalez. Up front are JP Sarao, Simon Sandagon, and Gab Panal. Our referees for this ball game are J. Francisco, Mark Rancudo, and Maynard Centeno. Fourth referee is Evren Aganan. Zamboanga in white, Quezon in black. Common sa kanila yung orange Freds. And Quezon getting first crack at it. Gab Banal immediately fires and knocks down a free.
And if he does have that range, talaga nga naman kukunin yan. I think that's the freedom that the Quezon Huskers are allowed. If you've got to look from 3, you got to take it because it helps spread the lane open for our you know, ball drivers and opens up the three-point shots as well from the outside. And if there is one player, in my opinion, that could fit well also dito sa Quezon Huskers, it's that man right there, JP Cawilan.
Good sign that he was able to knock down his first shot. 3-all ang ating talaan.
And ang mga regular na mga starters para dito sa Huskers is Simon, LJ, and itong si Jodel Fuentes. Continues to be, you know, that regular guys that start things off for Coach Eric.
Last time Quezon was here, they had that impressive victory against Pangasinan on the road. And boy, that was a statement win because Pangasinan during that time was in the midst of one of their hottest stretches. And Quezon quickly muffing out that torch that was lit para dun sa heat waves. And well, after that, they had those two impressive victories later on laban sa Nueva Ecija at sa San Juan.
Oo, pero yung panalo na yon nitong Pangasinan over Zamboanga, at that point of the season was really very important para dito sa Zamboanga kasi coming out of that, in last 5 games nila, they were 1-4. They lost to Pasay, they lost to Rizal, they won against Parañaque, lost to Abra, lost to San Juan, and incoming were the heat waves. And so had they lost that game, I'd like to think another 3 was made right here by Zamboanga. I'd like to think na nag-iiba yung complexion. I'd like to think yung body language, yung profile, and the complete side of Zamboanga. But so far here, you're seeing a really good sign of a lot of compete on the side of the Zamboanga Sikat team.
Yeah, pareho nilang tinalo yung Pangasinan, Zamboanga beating the Heat Waves in overtime in Palayan City while Quezon traveled here to beat the Heat Waves.
Wow.
Rich Luciano binunot galing sa bench ni Coach Bong Ramos.
And you like that he's taking, you know, those shot attempts, pero yung kumpiyansa din sa pagbitaw, and he's given that level of freedom as Jodel Fuentes right there muffs it.
Zamboanga playing with a lot of pace. Bit too much that time as Reg Gabat turns the ball over. Gonzalez, pass to Sandagon, can't convert underneath. Fuentes in stride for 3, off the mark. Gino Mosqueda tracks down the rebound.
Getting your looks but not making it so far for Jodel Fuentes.
Cawilan, not really in balance that time. And fails to make that 3. Do you like how he's looking for his shot early? 3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
If your other key guys are not available, some other guys gotta rise up to the occasion. And definitely, this is what's happening right now para dito sa Zamboanga Sikat. Without Abdul Sawat, who's not available for this game, you know, it's really the other guys taking over.
Foul against Zamboanga. Cawilan called for that foul. Quezon in the midst of an 8-game winning streak. While, like we talked about, Zamboanga, 5 straight losses. Or sorry, losing 5 of their last 7 games. So they were 2-5 during that stretch. LJ was fouled as he falls down on the floor.
And LJ using that explosive first step to try and beat the defender right in front of them, and eventually James Una, you know, had to clip him.
Sandagon sa ilalim.
Oh, back.
Wild shot from JP Sarao. Thought he got pushed, but no whistle.
Fishing for that foul. Little elbow to elbow or slot to elbow pass, ending up with Simon Sandagon. It definitely looked to a high-low. Found Sarao underneath, but you know, wild shot though. Oh man.
Gino Mosqueda knocks down another free. All of their field goals coming from beyond the arc para dito sa Zamboanga.
When we talk about itong Zamboanga, they also, like Quezon, love three-point shots. And so Chino Mosqueda, in that situation, given that handoff, defense goes unders, nothing else to do but to rise up and take that 3. And in jubilation, he makes it.
Quezon sues for time. They're down by 9, 12-3.
Nagbabalik ang MPBL. For this match, hindi lamang ito labanan ng mga magagaling na manlalaro ng Zamboanga at Quezon, but this is also a matchup of great coaches tandem in Coach Egay Macaraya and Coach Bong Ramos versus Coach Eric Gonzalez and Coach Nash Racela. May bahagi ko lang sa inyo, Coach Eric Gonzalez back then was the assistant coach of Coach Bong Ramos in the MPA for Batangas Blades. Meanwhile, magkakasama namang naging coaches ng UP Fighting Maroons, sina Coach Egay, Coach Eric at Coach Nash. So this actually reveals the fact na malalim ang familiarity ng coaches sa isa't isa. Biro na nga lang sa akin ni Coach Eric kanina, naku mga antigo na sa industriya ng basketball ang mga yan, hindi ka talaga pwedeng mag-relax. Ken and Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Andrea. And well, nakita natin no, yung mga relationships 20-25 years ago. I remember that team, Batangas Blades. I think they had Eddie Laure in that team. And si Coach Nash was the head coach during that time. Coach Bong was there. Coach Eric was there. And that was a loaded squad. And fast track to 20 years later, they're still going strong for their respective teams. As Gab Banaldo missing a free para dito sa Quezon.
Well, I think aside from the relationships that they built over the years, you know, because of the game of basketball, you see also a lot of common stuff pagdating sa philosophies of play. I mean, both these teams actually love taking threes. They like going downhill, getting paint touches, paint finishes, spraying it out to shooters. Pretty much ang daming similarity ng paraan ng paglaro nitong dalawang teams na to. And so you're not surprised that we're really seeing, you know, good three-point makes, which right now happens to be swinging over to the side of the Zamboanga Sikat. But that does not mean the Huskers are, you know, the more inferior team when it comes to three-point makes, because they definitely have got the talent to make threes from the outside.
Foul whistled against LJ Gonzalez on the weak side as he was trying to stop Chino Mosqueda from coming off that pick.
One might say na itong matchup ni LJ Gonzalez with Chino Mosqueda as he gets relieved here and goes to the bench, si LJ Gonzalez, is speed versus might. Mahirap bantayan sa ilalim itong si Chino Mosqueda kasi matigas rin ang katawan nito, and he's a pretty good defender as well.
And they managed to hold Quezon to only one field goal, and that was way early in the first quarter. Vince Magbuhos grabs the rebound. Topeng Lagrama now in. Altamsi will not force up the shot. Magbuhos, shot fake.
Ooh.
Not on the same page with Gab Banal. Another turnover against the Huskers.
I would like to think that Gab Banal was trying to replace the other side as Vince Magbuhos actually tried to go downhill, tried to attack the nail. He saw that opening. Gab might have thought that he was going all the way kasi wala namang rim protection at that end when he drove, but instead he decided to kick it out. Kaya miscommunication yun offensively with Gab Banal.
Siyam ang lamang ng Zamboanga. Entry pass. No team has yet to score a 2-point field goal. And we're almost at the 4-minute mark. We alluded to during our team comparison how both of these teams love to take threes, and we're seeing that right now. Rich Luciano missing on that 2-point field goal attempt.
Matter of fact, every game, ang average nitong dalawa, parehong 31 3-point shots per game. What a move by Topeng Lagrama. Nice skip. Good fake.
Not really good closeout from Credo. And Altamsi making him pay with that three.
Well, that's just, again, your style of play. You get that ball on a ball reversal. You do expect that guys are going to close out on you, and you're going to read that. Tamsi read that perfectly well. One dribble escape and the make. Oh, man.
Ganda ng pag-execute doon, Coach Mike.
Oh.
Iverson cut and then the misdirection. Setting up that three.
I tell you, when teams try to really find a way to get in the paint and get higher percentage shots, these guys try and look for their shooters outside. And to your point, wala pa tayong points in the paint right now, and it's still big fat 0 for both these teams, but the shooting from three is pretty good. 33% for Quezon and 50 para dito sa Zamboanga.
And it's pretty evident how Zamboanga has been pretty intentional in what they're trying to do.
Agree.
Michael Are momentarily hesitated, but that does not deter him from making that shot from beyond the arc.
Well, one might could guess na yung momentary hesitation na yun was also to fool the defense. And definitely, kung meron tira sa labas, kukunin at kukunin. Either Zamboanga or Quezon Kaman. Another one here incoming.
Short. No team has yet to make a 2-point field goal on
Looks
or
good.
a free throw, and it is good. 3-point shot this time from Joshua Wawayero.
Well, I say that it looked good because on that shot fake, he pretty much had that ball in the area where he would be easily escalating it and lifting his arm, and that good follow through. You see that good arc as well on that shot by Joshua Yero. You see this right here, little post up and that move outside, tack skip swing, that ball fake, and that made shot para dito kay Are. And again, very similar. Sa kabilang side, ganun din. Ball fake, 3-point shot Joshua Riero. And to the point that I've been trying to drive at, parehong paraan ng paglaro nitong dalawang teams na ito.
Fredo's free. Won't go. Magbuhos with another rebound. That time, grabbed in the arm by Alvin Capobres.
And Capobres coming in from the Parañaque Patriots, really giving them, I feel that edge alongside kay Chino Mosqueda on the defensive end of the floor. Parehong stocky players that can defend against perimeter guys.
Same spot, different result, a miss. Look at the shot chart of Zamboanga. 12 of their 13 field goal attempts coming all from beyond the arc.
Matter of fact, we've only had one guy attempt from the inside, and that's team rather, and that's Zamboanga.
Mid-range jumper yon, galing kay James Sena,
Right.
Mintis. But that's a shot.
Okay, I agree. Kasi kung ikaw naman ang bigs, you don't have that shot from the outside and you're still within that perimeter comfort area. If you're James, you gotta take it.
Magbuhos, swings it to Altamsi. Tres ulit. Second free of the ball game for the former FEU Tamaraw, Altamsi.
And what really passing the ball around in the perimeter does is that it forces closeouts and peel off a defense situation. And until you get that cross match and their late defenders, that's when your point attack is gonna be.
Capobres push shot will not drop in. Quezon trailing by 6. Under a minute left in the first quarter.
Oh boy, they had a high-low right there on a quick rim run by Jason Opiso. Opiso understood. He saw Capobres underneath. He felt he had advantage on a post-up. Tried to seal him pero hindi siya nakita kagad ni Lagramo. But as they were putting that ball that side of the floor, na-late na siya.
Altamsi, despite the closeout, still knocking that one down from downtown.
Isa na yan sa mga magagaling na tumikada sa labas. Itong si Altamsi, he's roughly about 35% from 3. 10 on the clock.
Dangerous pass. Turnover again against Quezon. Kalisay will not force it. Are to James Sena, top of the key. Asking Capobres to clear out. It's now with Arthur Kalisay, high arcing free off to the left. Michael Are sa loob, fails to convert. About a 4-second differential between shot and game clock, but Tamsi fires anyway and misses.
2 for 1 maybe ang habol nila doon. And I don't think they'll have parang 2-second differential between the clocks.
Wala na. Nakapatay na yung shot clock eh.
Oh yeah.
Lagrama gives up that foul. Their last foul to give of the quarter.
Another good 3-point shooter here on the floor for the Quezon Huskers. Eman Tagle.
Christian Pagaran also making his first appearance. He will replace Al Tamsi.
Couple of good defenders as well para dito sa Quezon Huskers.
11.8 seconds left. Zamboanga with a basketball. Medsalim. Credo off the bounce. Strides his way in for the first 2-point field goal of the ball game. And it comes at the 5-second mark of the first quarter. But boy, an impressive take galing kay Jason Credo.
And that slow second step allowed that finish right there by Jason Credo. Pero ito, si Luciano nagsimula ng lahat para dito sa Zamboanga sikat. Kanina, nauna nakatikada sa tres naman si Gab Banal. But Tamsi comes in and makes a couple of threes for the Huskers. But really, more ball movement for both these teams. But the makes have really been more on the side of Zamboanga as they've got 2 more 3-point makes over the Quezon Huskers.
And that's why they lead by 8 at the end of quarter number 1, 20-12. Zamboanga, this was a tough loss against Binyan, a low-scoring affair. And you just felt, Coach Mike, how they had such a hard time just executing against a very formidable defense like itong Binyan.
Remember when I talked about making threes and making your frees, meaning the free throws? That's a situation game where Zamboanga actually struggled from 3 and struggled from the free throws. They shot only 21% from 3 and only 38% made free throws. They had 10 makes out of 26 attempts. That's pretty low. And so that's not acceptable now if you're Zamboanga, which is why I say at the top of the coverage, you got to make your threes and you got to make your free throws. You're going to sneak one here over Quezon.
Gab Banal made that opening three. Since then, 12-0 run, buoyed by those back-to-back 3-point shots by Ridge Luciano, who was a surprise starter today para sa Zamboanga.
And surely, tayo lang, ang pakiramdam ko, tayo lang ang nagulat dyan sa panimula na yan para kay Luciano because I'm sure his teammates have that trust level on Luciano, a homegrown, making shots like those.
Playing only in his 12th game, making his second start. But that impact he created helped Zamboanga go off to a good start. Judel Fuentes, though, able to intercept the pass. And Quezon scoring their first 2-point field goal almost 1 minute in the second quarter.
That to me is really just basketball IQ by Judel Fuentes. You understood they didn't have a post pass. It was going to be thrown back to the top. And Judel knew that, anticipated it, got that steal, and made that basket.
Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme X Pop Personal Karaoke Speaker, Everyday Karaoke. Lead down to 6 after that basket. We have a timeout from Zamboanga. Judel Fuentes and Joseph Gabayni, 11 and 10 respectively in that win versus Imus. And Judel Fuentes and Joseph Gabayni also shooting really well from the field.
Oo, totoo yan. And malaking tulong yan para dun sa naging performance ni Jason Opiso. 11 and 10 points respectively for Judel Fuentes and Gabayni. I do like though that Judel Fuentes also got 4 rebounds in his 12 minutes of action in that game, and so you get the other guys scoring alongside your big names in your team. That really helps a lot, the Quezon Huskers.
And this is where the challenge lies here for Zamboanga. When they're not making their shots at a blistering pace, how will they respond? And especially going up against a top-rated defensive team right now in the Quezon Huskers. Jason Opiso banks it in for 2 more for the Huskers.
Yeah, and pretty much you get that ball off that pass. You understand that is not going to be the best point of attack. You got to swing the ball one more and see if that defense is going to be late. Exactly what happened in that play. And good ball movement coming out of the post from Will Gosong, eventually ending up in that basket by Jason Opiso on the other end.
Ganda sana nung off-ball cut ni Med Salim but just fails to convert. Again, going back to my point, Coach Mike, na pag hindi nasushoot yung kanilang mga tira, eh, paano sila mag-a-adjust? Talking about tong Zamboanga.
Agree. Oh man.
Diego Dario from the parking lot. drills in that 3-point shot. Lead down to 1, 7-0 run galing dito sa Quezon Huskers.
I say he's got to be named Diego the Dagger Dario. And he just comes up with, you know, shots that really matter in games. And that time around, they needed another 3-point shot, and Diego Dario really just went in there and knocked it down. As Fuentes was falling down, he got that pass coming from Jason Apisa, and look at the amount of, you know, air underneath that shot by Diego Dario. High looping shot, good chance that shot's gonna go in.
And you know the type of player Diego is. Once he finds his rhythm,
Yes.
he gets himself to feel good, his confidence goes up, and para sa paningin niya, lumalaki yung butas ng rim. Yan yung nangyari nung tinalo nila yung Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards in Palayan City.
Absolutely. And if you're following, like, you know, elite shooters like maybe a Steph Curry, you do observe that their shots really ang taas ng loop because as the ball is higher, it sees the rim mas maluwag at mas malaki, kaya nagkakaroon ka ng malaking pagkakataon na to make those shots even from way out. Post split action here.
Diego Dario this time puts it on the floor. Wants an ISO against JP Kawilan. Stepping back, gets to his spot, knocks down a jumper.
You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming. The moment that switch happened, he knew he had speed advantage over the defender, and Diego Dario went to his footwork, finished off with a jumper on the side.
James Sena, his own version of a jumper won't work. Quezon a chance to retake the lead. Dario's pass to Gab Banal. Fuentes quickly to Pagaran.
I thought he had a shot.
But he attacks the closeout, and a strong drive to the basket results to 2 points plus a foul.
And sometimes if you have better percentage, no matter na ganun kaluwag yung depensa para sa'yo, talagang you gonna attack downhill. See that closeout right there by, was that James Sena? Really just attacked it right through the paint. Got that paint touch and went to that paint finish.
11-1 run being enjoyed by right now by Quezon. Nice drive by Reg Cabat, met by the defense, but nobody boxing out James Sena, who swoops in and scores on the putback.
I agree with that, Ken. Ganda ng pagkaka-reject niya ng screen. Went downhill with a lot of force. Showed a lot of sharpness on his move. Pero ang ganda ng tulong na binigay sa kanya ni James Sena on that miss.
Gozom receiving the pass after providing that nice screen from Judel Fuentes and able to score underneath.
There are very few big men that can actually receive the ball on the elbow, go to the hoop without putting the ball on the floor. And you just saw that in Will Gozom. And how much of a value does he bring with him coming back for the Huskers?
Mosqueda wants to post up Diego Dario. Jason Straight, the pass to James Sena. Straight away free is good. Lead back to Zamboanga, 26-25.
Sana yan sa mga bagay na nagugustuhan mo dito kay James Sena. Hindi yan takot na at maghe-hesitate na tumira sa labas if you give him that much space.
Both teams playing at a very comfortable pace.
Back to that matchup where Diego Dario scored against JP. He's taking on this again.
This time at the middle, fading away. Dario, though, fails to score that time.
Tried to create that separation pero couldn't knock it down. JP trying to return that favor.
That one clanking off the rim. Fuentes. Navigating through traffic. Will Gozom. That three won't drop. And Mosqueda with another rebound. 5th rebound of the ball game para kay Chino. Jason Straight.
I'd say that was still a good look for Will Gozom on that missed three. That's the shot.
Kawilan, Mintis. Credit Gab Banal for possibly altering that shot a bit. Push shot by Gozom, Mintis. One and done by Quezon.
Been quite an empty back and forth between these two teams now.
And this is where execution comes into play. When shots are not falling, which team can maintain their poise and stick to the game plan.
I like in that moment when Chino Mosqueda actually brought the ball down on the post. Oh, no gap.
Simpleng-simple lang ito. Two-man game. Two guys covering Dario, freeing up. Good read by Diego Dario.
Yeah. And what did he do? He really just went in there, created confusion by creating convergence of two players coming on the ball and then spinning back to the top with one of the really good guys from top of the key to make threes, Gabanab.
Lob inside to Chino Mosqueda, who likes that matchup against Diego Dario.
Pretty much, lalo na kung sa loob ng paint na pag-uusapan natin. Kasi nga, height advantage, lakas ng katawan, and good vision, a good decision maker. Once again, this cross match.
Pass to Wilgozo, who forces it up,
Ooh, wow.
grabs it, and makes the basket. Wilgozo relentless on that approach.
Would it be safe to say now that Quezon is using JP Kawilan as the point of attack? How many times have we seen that every time there's that cross match involving JP Kawilan, they immediately go in attack mode, and Wilgozo is not going to be stopped that close to the rim.
Timeout Zamboanga, they're down by 2, 30-28.
Nagbabalik ang MPBL. Even with the departure of some star players para sa Zamboanga, Coach Bong Ramos said kompleto pa rin naman ang pyesa nila. It's just that nabawasan ang depth ng team. Na-build down nila ang magandang image in the start of the season, making them a target of other teams, which they take as a good challenge. Because this is pushing them to be better. One good thing, the boys know how to not just cope up, but also step up. Isa na nga dyan itong si Chino Mosqueda, who just 2 weeks ago secured a star of his own. Chino just got engaged to his girlfriend, Cha Mendez, and now we see why he's playing extra inspired. Right, Ken and Coach Mike?
Siyempre naman, basta inspired laging nagre-reflect sa laro, no? Gino Mosqueda, congratulations of course to him and his better half. We've seen him in their last game, almost had a double-digit assist total, 9 assists, and really helped quarterback that offense para dito sa Zamboanga. And to Andres' report, marami man nawala, those 3 key cogs, Carl Brian Cruz, Ichi Altamirano, Roy Sumang, wala pa si Abdul Sawat dito. It's next man up para dito sa Zamboanga.
Ako pananaw ko dyan, Ken, it's the value of the leadership that Chino Mosqueda brings. Sure, tama ka doon. Medyo maganda yung mga piyesa na yun. Kailangan rin itong Zamboanga. But with Chino really being in there on the floor and leading his team, nararamdaman mo yung leadership na meron dito kay Chino Mosqueda. Enough for Coach Bong to actually have him the most minutes on the floor para dito sa Zamboanga, because you retain Chino in there. It's really like having another leader and another coach. See that good fake.
Nagtilikling si Turco, kaya natawagan ng traveling doon.
Sayang, ganda pa naman nung peke niya.
Gampanan, what a pass! Santagon in stride. Able to escape the defense and he'll earn himself 2 free throws.
Well, Simon Sandagon underneath is always going to be dangerous, that close to the rim. But again, if you go back to how they play itong Quezon Huskers, you know, little 2-man action off ball. Coaches would always tell you that convergence creates confusion. And so you bring in 2 guys, it confuses a little bit the defense, who covers who. And if you're not quick to make decisions, that's what happens. It opens up that lane for Simon Sandagon. Unfortunately, they couldn't milk that free throws for Simon.
2:36 left. JP Kawilan passing it out to Jason Strait.
Mismatch.
Back to JP. Inside, Kawilan forcing it up. Altamsi standing his ground, and off the basketball, a double foul. It's gonna go against I think it's
Gabanal and Luciano, I think.
Yeah.
The number 77, Gabanal, also his first foul.
Ako, if I'm Coach Egay, surely he wouldn't mind that call on Luciano. He actually loves that Luciano is competing, battle for that ball against Gabanal.
So hindi siya token starter dito.
Correct. And napakahalaga ng next man up mentality, especially as you try and get a spot on that playoff. Jay Gonzalez,
You were
man.
left speechless there, Coach Mike.
He was so quick that even I found it hard to describe what he was doing. He was so good. See this right here. That hip opened up on that defense by JP Kawilan, and for the nth time, they have actually attacked that defense of JP Kawilan.
He is probably the top guy in terms of him getting ahead in full speed and still managing to change direction
Grace, that's right.
and losing his defender.
Agree.
Na,
Yes,
ang hirap gawin, ha?
totoo yun. Alam mo kahapon we covered Robbie Darang.
LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. Oh, si Robbie Darang.
We covered Robbie Darang. Full length of the floor, he speeds up the game, definitely advantage Robbie Darang. LJ Gonzalez speeds the game half court. So nakikita mo yung burst of speed na talagang kahit ganun kaiksi, naiiwan niya yung kanyang defender.
Lamang na ng apat ang Quezon. Pwersa sa loob si Alvin Capobres. And he will earn himself 2 free throws.
That is, we talked about earlier JP Kawilan opening up his hip and allowing LJ Gonzalez that lane. Dito sa kabilang side, I don't think Gabanal opened up his hip and to open up that lane for that drive by Capobres. And so he really had to go through Gabanal in order if he wants to get to that spot on the floor. Unfortunately, he got called for that foul, speaking of Gab.
Alvin Capobres missing the first free throw, however. Started the season with Parañaque and now finding himself with Zamboanga, a contender. Both free throws missed though. Both teams struggling at the line. 1 out of 4 ang Zamboanga, while Quezon 0 out of 4.
And surprising kasi even si Capobres, 70% the free throw shooter yan. So you'd like to think there's a good chance he'd even make either the first or the second. Good kick.
Attracting 2 defenders, but Hierro unable to can that free. Michael Are thought about it. Luciano handing it off to Alvin Capobres. Forcing his way inside. Gonzalez altering that shot. LJ passing it to Tamsi. Skip pass to Hierro. Balik kay LJ. People reset their offense. Ball screen up top with Sandagon.
Oh, yeah.
Pass a bit off dun sa kamay ni Altamsi.
They were pretty uncertain on where that ball wanted to go. Sure, ball reversal, pero were they getting it on the weak side wing or were they getting it on the weak side corner? And so, hinabol talaga yung bola na yun, na pasa para dito kay Altamsi.
Offensive foul, moving screen, laban kay Alvin Capobres.
Like what they always say, if you're going to provide a screen, you got to allow the defender to see you. At that time, pretty much itong si Capobres stepped in on that path of Altamsi, good call by the officials.
Third foul against Alvin Capobres. And a timeout with 57.9 seconds left. Quezon in front by 4. Nice to be back here at the Robert Estrella Senior Memorial Stadium in Rosales, Pangasinan as we check out our Gixxer, fan of the game, born for greatness.
Talagang may mga video bomber sa gilid. Oh, there you go.
Yung isa mahiyain,
Oo.
yung isa kaway-kaway lang.
On the side lang.
Muli po Ken Pangilinan with Coach Mike Perez at courtside. We have Miss Andrea Endicio. "51 seconds remaining. This is LJ on the right side, now guarded by Gino Mosqueda.
There you go.
Hierro has been jacking up threes, but only converting on one of those. That was his first shot earlier in the first quarter.
Well, you like that look though, because he definitely in that instance was the least guarded guy. Kaya haba nung close out ni Are doon against that shot by Hierro.
This play a little bit slow to develop. Are forced up to take that shot, but makes it anyway. 2-second differential between shot and game clock.
Look at how they're positioned. Ball side, you've got a wing and the corner guy, and you got Jason Apiso on that weak side dunker. Now they isolate.
Gonzalez one-on-one against Mike Are. LJ, no good. Still time for Zamboanga to tie or even take the lead. Gino Mosqueda skipping it to Rich Luciano, who flips it up for three.
I thought that was going in. That looked good.
He hit one in that same spot earlier in the first quarter, but nonetheless, nice way for the Quezon Huskers to bounce back here in the second period. They now find themselves ahead at the half over Zamboanga, 32-30.
Is that for Diego?
Pero mintis, dalawang free throw, ha? Oh, what a pass! Biggs Pascual setting up Kit Jimenez.
This has got to be one of the best games, if not the best game, that we've seen from Mix Pascual. Good decision making right there, but you got to catch up on the other end.
Defense once again. Ugsang at the post. Fading away. Oh my goodness, Reeve Ugsang. How about that?
If your key player is down, it's the role players that take over. Rivugsan this time, after giving that pass earlier to Mark Meneses, decides I'm gonna take on this one, taking on three white shirts, fading away, knocking it down to the delight of the Cebu Greats bench.
Sazon, Yambing will slam it down. Was actually asking for the lob. This guy could really jump out of the building. So si Rin William Bing.
Nice little pocket pass delivered there by Ives Sazon. It's still a slam for Rin William Bing. One hand plus as he brought back yung kanyang cornrows for this game.
You don't want to see going as well. Tandaan natin. Oh, what a move!
Grabe yun. And Mac Talio able to score.
In and out with the left hand and that right hand finish, leaving the defense on the dust. Mac Talio at his best, breaking down primary defenders.
Napako na sa 64 points. Rodel Gravera will slam it down with two hands.
He pretty much deserves that moment, itong si Rodel Gravera. He's just been a guy that they pull off the bench and always gives positive results. He never runs out of effort. Well, it's a foot race with Mix Pascual, and Mix was not gonna challenge that. And Rodel Gravera, a very quiet, athletic guy.
At nauuna siya dito, Farito will slam it down with his left hand.
He is in a zone. Christian Pajarito has made this Voyagers team and this Cuneta Astrodome as his playground tonight, showing us everything that he can do on the floor. Left hand jam puts in that exclamation on the kind of game that Christian has played.
Missing the second. Davao, chance to win it. Escobedo inside the pass. Escocio scores! 0.7 seconds remaining. Val City calls timeout. What a play there by the Davao Occidental Tigers.
Well, they quickly ran the other way and trying to attack understanding the time that was left, that front end miss,
About a 4-second differential between shot and game clock.
that is enough time.
Roy Sumang attacks, pulling up. Money on a mid-range jumper.
They got time.
But still a 2-possession game. Hamon, a second remaining. And that's gonna do it. Zamboanga. How about Roy Sumang? Struggling all game long with his shot. Delivers the dagger for the Zamboanga Sikat.
The dagger against June Manso, no problem. Little step back, and that basket made just in time to give them the lead and eventually the game.
Basilan with 7 steals compared to 8 naman for Ilagan Isabela. Alex Cabagno drives baseline. Oh! Had that tough angle but had the wits in English to will that one through.
Oh boy, what an incredible shot make by the crunch man. Santos was trying to keep in step with him all the way to the hoop, took it to the other side with a much more difficult attempt, was able to use that offhand to keep Santos from getting in front of him, but still the magnitude of the difficulty of the shot.
He has post start para dito sa Sarangani.
Oh! One-handed throwdown right out of the gates from Simon Sandagon.
Simon Sandagon in his last 2-3 games has really sent out a statement that he is laser focused to try and bring a title for the Quezon Huskers this season.
That came out of nowhere. Simon Sandagon announcing his entry. Our score at the half, 30 for the Zamboanga Sikat Families Brand Sardines and 32 for the Quezon Huskers. Coach Mike, it's been a barrage of frays to begin this game, no? We saw Zamboanga jump off to a 12-0 run after Gapanal hit a fray. And then around the 2-minute mark was where we witnessed the first 2-point field goal among both teams. It was that basket by Credo, and then second quarter na, naka 2-point field goal itong Quezon, but it seemed like it lit a fire under them and they were able to pull ahead here late in the second quarter.
Oh, totoo yan. And I'm a bit surprised with the scoring. I feel this is a relatively low-scoring game considering that both these teams average roughly about 80 points per game. And with that percentage of shooting, really it's because most of the shots have really come from the threes. And when you look at points in the paint, napakababa, 12 and 6 points lang respectively for Quezon and Zamboanga. But I do like though the help that they're getting off the bench. Quality help, 22 and 16, napakagandang numero niyan. Almost half of their points really come from the bench.
Same lineup that they began with in this game, starting the third for both these squads. James Una gives it up to JP Cawilan, coming off the screen, off to the right, running start for Judel Fuentes. Mosqueda, good job keeping in step.
Good snake.
Fuentes though, able to escape momentarily but fails to convert.
Well, he sneaked that defense. Pero ito si Luciano, kita mo hindi rin na-atransan sa post-up against Gabanal. Gotta get out of the way, let Chino operate.
But LJ is ball strong, and that's why he was able to force a miss.
Kaya rin sumabay, no?
Oo.
Sa palakasan ng katawan down on the low block.
LJ wants to work with Gab Banal up top.
Watch out for JP.
Banal popping out back to Gonzalez. 7 seconds left on their shot clock. Gonzalez running into Gab Banal. Running into Chino Mosqueda as he finds Gab Banal who can't hit the free.
Another good look for Gab Banal. And the thing is, yung mga pasa, it's really on point to the least guarded guy in that instance happens to be Gab Banal. Hindi lang nila na basket yun.
Mosqueda this time popping out. Luciano can't shake off Simon Sandagon. 2 seconds left on their shot clock. Luciano will spin. Ball was still in his hand when he attempted that shot.
And a steady defense there shown by Simon Sandagon. Well, Luciano, like what I said earlier, hindi takot makipaglabanan sa depensa on the post-up. Kahit na siya yung pumuposte, lumalaban pa rin. But that time, he really ran out of time as Simon Sandagon would not budge on that situation.
And that's the predicament that Zamboanga is facing right now. Every time the player stops into one guy and the offense dies down, how are they able to execute? And more often than not, Coach Mike, the answer is a big no. Talagang di sila makapuntos pag ganun yung nangyayari.
At saka I feel, ako lang, this is based on my observation. Guys like JP Cawilan, guys like Reg Gabat, especially in the absence of Abdul Sawat, these guys gotta elevate their game.
We have a coach's challenge by Coach Eric Gonzalez of the Quezon Huskers. We'll be back for the result of this one.
Upon review, the challenge was unsuccessful.
Bigo si Coach Eric sa kanyang pag-challenge doon.
Let's see what happened there. Kung sino yung huling humawak ng bola. Yeah. of the fingertips of Simon.
So hindi kay Una, kay Sandagon.
Well, tumama kay Una, pero
Pumangalawa
pa yung doon kay Sandagon, yung fingertip.
Kawilan has struggled from beyond the arc tonight.
And Zamboanga going to their staple play, which is a flex action, that time involving Gabat and Luciano.
Baseline inbound, 2 minutes already gone by in the third period.
Nice.
James Una able to escape. Somebody missed out an assignment there from the Quezon Huskers.
You create an intersection, you create a convergence, you create confusion on defensive coverages. And that's what happened right there, freeing up si James Una.
Kauna-unahang puntos from either squad in this quarter speaks volumes to how defense has been played at a premium tonight. Two teams in the top 10 in terms of giving up points. And Zamboanga forcing Quezon into a shot clock violation.
Ganda ng depensa ng Zamboanga doon. Every primary defender did not get beat. Rotations on ball reversals, and once they got to the post up, everybody just settled down, stayed low, and waited for that attack down on the baseline side.
LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. Reg Gabat has yet to find his mark, still scoreless here. Mosqueda.
Flex again.
Holding foul will be whistled against Quezon. Si Altamsi trying to keep in step with Reg Gabat.
Sagutan rin lang sa depensa, no, Ken?
Oo.
Subukan sumistop sa kanina sa kabila, which is successful ang Zamboanga. Pero dito, much as there was a foul call, nakikita mo na hindi rin nabibit ng sikat itong mga defenders ng Quezon Huskers.
They've scouted each other well.
Yes, agree. And the players have bought into it.
Nobody really deviating to the game plan, and as a result, more of these kinds of possessions, shot clock dying down on them. And Quezon, good job holding Zamboanga to just one shot. Oh! Vince Magbuhos pushing James Una away.
Well, Vince didn't appreciate that hard closeout on that layup attempt by James Una. I think James was really just trying to prevent an easy basket for Vince Magbuhos. Because on the other side, earlier offensively, they didn't have a quality shot because that shot was taken when the clock was ticking. They immediately ran the other way. LJ Gonzalez found Vince Magbuhos, and James really just giving a chase for it. Nagulat rin siguro si Vince na humabol pa itong si James Una. Kasi in the first place, I thought that James was really trying to ball tap as from behind as LJ was bringing the ball down the floor.
Nagkabol sila after
Oo.
sumabay ni James Una.
I think wala namang
Number 1, James
bad
Una,
intentions
his
on
second.
both the players. It's
Warning
just that
on
hindi
number
lang
93,
nagustuhan
Vince
yung
Magbuhos for second
yung
motion.
contact na yon ni James Una on Vince Magbuhos.
As expected, foul against James Una, and then warning against Vince Magbuhos.
So regular foul lang.
Yeah. 32 all. Quezon yet to score. More than 3 minutes in here in the third. And Vince Magbuhos finally changing that. Former Adamson Falcon played for Nueva Ecija last season. So like JC Cuellar grew up in Italy, and those two are actually really good friends.
Oh yes. Sobrang close niyan ng dalawang yan. Even in the previous seasons, yan yung mga storyline that they present with JC and Vince. Again, another good defensive stop by the Quezon Huskers. You've got a really good shooter in JP Kawilan getting that ball on that weak side. Pero you just turn him into a dribbler instead of a shooter.
Ang laki din nitong backcourt ng Zamboanga. Chino Mosqueda playing that one spot at 6'1". Then you have coming in Arthur Calisay replacing Reg Gabat.
Ganda ng rocker ni Gab Banal before he went down to attack that gap against Luciano.
Kita mo to, Coach Mike, oh. Lumabas si Luciano, pero yung pumasok, the 6'3", Jason Credo, with a very long wingspan.
Yes, tama ka dun.
So very lengthy, no, itong lineup na meron ngayon. Kasal si Coach Bong Ramos. But LJ Gonzalez making sure that he was able to draw the foul. Ganun din sa Quezon.
Oo. How about that change of hands as he was attacking downhill itong kay LJ Gonzalez? One major adjustment that the Zamboanga Sigat has done as right now, there's only 2 points pa lang ba na i-score ng bawat team na ito. And you see in the first half, diba, they kept on attacking JP Kawilan. But here in the third quarter, they really were either trying to hide JP Kawilan defensively or helping him out.
Itong free throw na ito, atid sa ating Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. And just when you look at the stats across the board, virtually everything identical at the moment.
Correct.
Not really one category standing out from either squad.
Yes. Kasi bawat isa, pag ginawa nung kabila, may sagot rin yung, yung the other team. And this is the kind of game where it's almost like playing against yourself. No? Itong Zamboanga and the Quezon.
Mosqueda, nice pass! Oh my goodness! Tumingin pa si Chino sa akin. Pero kasi naman, parang wala na nangyayari sa opensiba na yon. And then, nagkatinginan lang si Mosqueda and James Una able to cut and score.
You gotta give a good percentage of that basket to James Una. Understanding a backdoor cut with Chino Mosqueda, a really good facilitator, finding him. If he hadn't made that backdoor cut, that play would not have happened. And he just kept on going, hindi tinigil yung backdoor cut.
Tamsi forcing up the fray. Another offensive rebound by Quezon. Tamsi will reload, will fire, and will score from downtown.
Oh my goodness. The degree of difficulty on the three-point attempts of Tamsi is just amazing.
Capobres left that one short. Wawayero, the pass to LJ Gonzalez. Skips it to Magbuhos. Tamsi again, this time puts it on the deck. What a pass inside! Gonzalez lurking in the paint and was able to score.
Well, you get a three-point shooter in Al Tamsi. You get a closeout. He drives the lane. Normally on the weak side post, you'd see a big man. But who was lurking underneath doing that curl under? It was LJ Gonzalez. Understanding, nobody's seeing me from here, and so I'm gonna cut. And the same way that Chino Mosqueda really found a way and rewarded James Una on that back cut against that defense by Vince.
Both teams playing at an excellent rate, but Quezon extending their lead to 7. Timeout Zamboanga.
You are still watching the MPBL. In the midst of all the action, may kasabihan nga kami sa probinsya na ang mga Quezonian mahilig sa kasiyahan yan. We always find reasons to celebrate, while for the Huskers, aside from being at the top of their division, after winning the All-Star game, which we all know Coach Eric was the one who orchestrated that one for the South Division team. One more thing, lahat ng representative ng Quezon Huskers in the 2025 PBA draft ay pasok. They had a Thanksgiving dinner with their team owner Dr. Kim Tan last Thursday. Kwento nga ng team, despite all the preparation and challenges, it was good that they had the opportunity to catch up and check in on each other, building better and stronger bonds, especially sa papalapit na playoffs. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Andrea, as Michael Are responds off a timeout with a jumper. But just going back to that report, I think 6 of them got drafted all 6 of them who entered and applied their name for the draft. Congratulations to all those players. And alam mo, isa sa paborito kong nakikita, no? Pag pupunta sa Quezon, lagi may kainan pagkatapos eh. Lalo doon sa Lucena, sa Convention Center. And well, that speaks volumes to how Doc Kim Tan, of course Gov Helen Tan, they've been full support all the way to this team. Of course, shout out to Attorney Don Kapunan as Quezon is trying to gear up for another championship run. But Zamboanga making it hard for them tonight. Back-to-back frees, they pulled to within 2, 41-39. Maghuwas free, short. Credo. The rebound, the pass to Michael Are. Back to Credo.
Good shot.
Did not hesitate, but that shot a bit flat.
And that was the shot that was available. Similar to this one.
Credo with another rebound. Nice outlet pass. Capobres is free but lost his balance on his way up.
Didn't have that elevation for that finish.
Actually, kanina ko pa napapansin si Alvin. Medyo...
May iniinda, no?
Oo.
Parang may iniinda siya.
He doesn't have that usual lift.
That's right.
Three-point shot is brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
And always you try and skip it once you receive it. Attack, skip, swing, and that time around, that attack down the middle, that skip pass over, and that swing pass ending up with Altamsi for that escape dribble and a 3. And I want to chime in also on that report by Andrea. You see, much as this is a performing organization in the Quezon Huskers, well, they always say culture eats strategy for breakfast every single time. And so much as this is a highly organized club in the Quezon Huskers, one can't deny the fact that culture as well is a high priority for this team. You perform, keep everybody engaged, keep everybody joyful. And at the end of the day, this really is just a basketball game when every team really tries to do its best without sacrificing character.
Meanwhile, when we talk about the Zamboanga Sikat, they've been one of the most pleasant surprises here in the season. As well, Kalisay falling down on the floor. It frees up Judel Fuentes on the other side. Easy 2 points. Kalisay still down though.
Now that's a side you don't want to see. Because si Kalisay is kalaro yan. And you don't want to see yung mga kalaro mo na ganyan. See this action right here. Bungguan o tumama sa ulo ni Jason Opiso.
Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme X Play. On-the-go speaker, take your music anywhere.
And without any defender right in front, that's the easiest shot that you can get in the open floor. Kalisay is still down. Medyo malakas rin yung pagkakatama niya eh. Nag-ricochet against that head. Well, at least from what we saw earlier, against the head of Jason Opiso.
Ito, isa pang anggulo.
And the thing is, if you stay, yun nga, tumama nga, no?
Sa balikat.
Sa balikat pala. But if you keep that video rolling and you go back, you'll actually see the first guy who comes to the aid of Kalisay is Gabanal.
At the end of the day,
Will Gosum. And at the end of the day, talagang, kalaro nga eh, di ba?
kalaro, kakampi, kasama.
Hindi kalaban.
Hindi kalaban. Tama. Pero matindi ang pinaglalabanan itong dalawang kupunan na ito. Lalo for Zamboanga. They want to avoid a play-in. They were once at the top of the South Division.
Oh, that was a travel.
Now find themselves
downhill.
Having a hard time right now. And Reg Kabat, the struggle continues. Still scoreless. Christian Pagaran. Gozum hands it off to Topeng Lagrama. Skipping it to Judel Fuentes. Shot fake.
Nice
blocked
block
by Jason Credo.
Nice block.
Balik kay Fuentes. 5 seconds left on their shot clock. Fuentes again from the right corner. Pocket. Book it.
Grabe yung patience nila. You had another drive down the lane. Topeng recognizes. Shooter on the side. Gotta give it to him.
Lead back up to 7 points. Michael Ares free off the heel. Credo tried to track it down but lost that basketball in the process. Turnover, or actually ball possession going to Quezon.
Alam mo, maaaring nag-turnover yun at ang bola mapupunta sa Quezon. Pero kung ikaw si Coach Ega at saka si Coach Bong, I'm sure matutuwa ka sa nagiging effort ng mga players mo. Eh. Sure, you're down right now but you're not out. You're definitely still in here. This is roughly, at best, a two-possession game.
Banal sliding in. Jason Credo with his second block of the quarter, triggering a fast break opportunity which leads to a basket by James Sena.
And this time it's Gab Banal who gets hit on the chin. It's probably on that left elbow as James Sena was trying to protect that layup attempt. They're gonna review this.
Oh, may dugo eh.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is bleeding on the
There
mouth.
is.
That's why he was
there it is.
visibly upset.
He got hit on the lip, on the upper right. See that again here. Drive right there. Leads it up. There, that's it, clearly. And that was the left arm on that elbow.
Yeah. As James Sena made his move to the basket.
It was after the shot. Or as he was going for that layup shot.
Sumakto yung siko eh dun sa bibig ni Gab Banal doon. 46-41. Lead cut down to 5. Lagramas free. No.
man.
Pagaran skying high for the offensive rebound. Tapikan ng bola. Napunta kay James Sena. 32 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Jason Credo quickly to reach Luciano. Not forcing up the shot. Credo will take some time against Vince Magbuhos. Nice pass. Reg Gabat still empty. 8 seconds still on their shot clock. Credo forcing it up. And a foul will be whistled against Vince Magbuhos.
Credo just staying active that time. Tried everything. Tried to post up, tried to find an open man, got that ball on that end of the floor, immediately elevated for that shot attempt until he got fouled. Vince was trying to really challenge that shot by Credo.
Former Ateneo Blue Eagle, Jason Credo. First free throw. Good on the first one. Missed 2 key free throws in their attempt to fight back. Ito si Jason Credo against Binyan in their last game. Itong free throw na ito naman, hatid sa atin Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
Because that pretty much has been the challenge to Jason Credo is making free throws.
Del Fuentes is gone on the other side.
And Jidel Fuentes now a recipient of a couple of just open layups in transition. That's another foul.
Nice drag screen provided by both Luciano and James Sena.
Yeah, that should be on Pagaran.
Just a 14th foul against the Quezon Huskers.
At saka itong mga, this tough foul and yung mga contacts na ganito, one might attribute because of the way that offensively how they play. If you are going downhill, you have to be very forceful because you anticipate contact underneath. Pero yung reach na yon ni Pagaran, may tama sa paa eh. Tumama sa binti nito ni Gabat.
Still enough time for Zamboanga to put up a shot. Luciano to Are for free. Short. Third quarter comes to a close. And Quezon just putting on the clamps in the last 2 quarters. Highlights of the game brought to you by Zip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
Lowest combined scoring so far between these two teams because pretty much for the first half of the third quarter, we've only seen 2 points produced by Zamboanga until that good recovery by the Quezon Huskers, going to different guys. LJ Gonzalez, Gidel Fuentes got this three and a couple of open layup shots, and this much separation right now. 6-point lead for the Quezon Huskers as we end the third.
Some of the fans flocking in anticipation for our main attraction tonight. But first, our fan of the game brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL.
As more fans now starting to troop in dito sa ating gymnasium here in Rosales.
Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes with Head of Security Rudy Distrito, Head of Operations Emer Oreta. So far, what do you like from the Quezon Huskers, especially in the last 2 quarters, Coach Mike?
Well, I feel yung magandang execution nila on the offensive end. They did struggle to start the third quarter, but they came back. A lot of downhill action, especially yung a couple of turnovers that they forced, which they got, I think 5-6 points out of it, and really making the most out of the defensive stops that they've been playing. And they start the fourth quarter with another defensive stop and another point of turnover. See the quarter scoring right there. It's combined 28 points, lowest so far combined scoring between these two teams in the third.
Unti-unti dumadami yung turnovers nitong Zamboanga at unti-unti na rin lumalayo yung Quezon, up now by 8 points.
Another turnover.
And most of their turnovers are live ones, Coach Mike.
Correct. And that's the danger of getting a live turnover. That's why teams, when you get that turnover and you see that's falling outside, you still try and save it, because it's harder to defend a live turnover than that you have an inbound from the back or on the sideline.
Fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme Magpalamig, free installation for split-side air conditioners.
6 points of turnovers, all from Gidel Fuentes, starting from the third and even here at the start of the fourth.
Quezon handily beating Imus and just holding them to just 56 points here in this ball game.
Yeah, and that again is a story about forcing turnovers and getting more points off of it. And you get a plus 14 when it comes to points off turnovers out of the 17 turnovers that you force on Imus, while itong Quezon Huskers, 7 lang yung turnover na nakomit nila. And that just shows you efficiencies on the side of the Quezon Huskers in that game.
Top 3 in that department coming in. Boy, Alvin Capobres, just not himself tonight, as well as Reg Cabat.
Even yung takbo niya, somehow you get that feeling na meron siyang, he's nursing something.
Diego Dario with Will Gozum, Judel Fuentes, Christian Pagaran, and Vince Magbuhos. Diego Dario gets to his spot, rattles that one in.
Nothing more difficult than having a couple of really good shooters trying to twist screens between, at that time, Judel Fuentes and Diego Dario, and a very able passer to feed them via Will Gozum.
Again, the challenge for Zamboanga, once they fail to hit their shots, how will they bounce back? And so far, Quezon taking advantage of their drought, up now by a dozen, 54-42.
Pero much as this is a drought, or a deficit, 12-point deficit for the Zamboanga team, similar to, I think, how they played against Pangasinan, where they were down as many points, to my recall. it doesn't feel like they're down big. You know that they're still pretty much in it. They just got to get a string of points. But the key difference right here, you don't have an Abdul Sawat.
And what does Abdul Sawat bring to the table that they're sorely missing right now, Coach Mike?
I think that steadiness, especially down on the tight games. You have to remember in that match, you see this good drive right here by JP Kawilan. You have to remember that in that match against Pangasinan, Abdul Sawat was actually the one that sent that game into regulation as he tried to test that middle lane for that drive and calmly made that layup. Oh, wow.
Gozom forced into a miss.
They were lucky that Will missed that.
Good foul given up by Diego Dario. Dahil nga, with Zamboanga, they need to play with a lot of pace.
Yes.
Because with the absence of a go-to scorer, Reg Gabat, Alvin Capombre struggling, they need to find ways to get easier points in their favor.
At saka kailangan sabayan nila si Chino Mosqueda. I think his leadership, it's always been there at any point in the game. And you got to follow his lead. You got to be with him. Sharp cuts, good looks, create confusion. You got to be in there. You got to make your shots. There you go.
Pumihit,
That's
pumasa palabas, creating something out of nothing and finds Michael Are for free.
And if it has to be Michael Are from the outside, then so be it. Every time that ball is on Chino Mosqueda's hands, you got to make yourself available.
James Una rejecting that Diego Dario layup. Michael Are though left it short. Golden opportunity miss there by Zamboanga.
That was a big one. Could have been a 5-point run already for Zamboanga.
Also would have made it a 2-possession ball game.
That is right. And so with almost 6 minutes and change still remaining, they're still in this. Speaking of Zamboanga.
LJ with a powerful offensive rebound. And Are, no choice but to give up that foul.
This game is so much a defensive game.
Let's get an injury update from Andrea Indicio.
Just an update on both of the players who were down earlier. For the side of Zamboanga, John Calisay was hit on his right lower cheek, was shaken a bit, but assured the team kaya niyang bumalik. For the side of Quezon, Gabanal sustained a cut on his upper right lip, and right now there's a little bit of swelling, but is also good to play once called. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Andrea. Parehong mandirigma.
Oh, yes.
Gabanal, in fact, is now in the ball game after getting hit by James Sena earlier.
Well, you talk about toughness. Gabanal's definitely going to be up in that conversation. And you do also like yung resilience nito ni Calisay. Because in the games that they played, alongside si Kawilan, ang ganda rin na naging partnership ng dalawang yan. Is that tight stagger right here to set up the 3 on the weak side corner.
Paul Turco, balik kay Jason Credo. 2-man game between those two. Ball will stay with Zamboanga. Approaching the 6-minute mark of the fourth. They're still behind by 8.
Well, Coach Eric has really done, has shown that, ooh!
Naka-nakaw si Chino Mosqueda doon.
I was even gonna say that Coach Eric was bringing that level of calmness para dito sa Huskers, kahit na ganito kadikit yung laban. He just stays with the trust on his players and his team on the floor.
A heads-up play from Chino Mosqueda.
Nice pass.
Santagon goes up strong. Basket and one. Breakdown in the defense once again from Zamboanga.
It's always the pass out of the pass. Gab finds Hierro, draws that secondary defender, and the least guarded guy, Simon Sandago.
Si Paul Turco was lost in the shuffle there.
Yeah, because he had to peel off because nabeat yung defender na primary supposedly for Joshua Hierro, and they just left Simon Sandagon the other way.
Free throws have not been kind for both teams. Quezon is 4 out of 11. 2 of 6 lang itong Zamboanga.
Which is so much lower than their usual performance. Roughly close to 60 and sobrang baba niyan. Oh
Another
no.
pass. Joshua Yero. Another end one opportunity for the Quezon Huskers.
That's the second consecutive play that we've seen that ball move around without so many dribbles. Ball bounces, gets to Gab, and then to that diving Joshua Yero. Gets that end one. You move the ball around, you move pieces around. That practically is what happens. And itong Quezon Huskers is pretty adept at doing that.
Yero's free throw good. Biggest lead right now for the Quezon Huskers at 11 points.
Actually, kung pag-uusapan mo ang Zamboanga, you know, it's really missing certain guys na normally nakikipagpalitan, no, sa rotation. Kaya mas mahaba ang minutes ng mga talagang inaasahan nila Coach Egay and Coach Bong.
Check that, they led by 12 earlier, 54-42. Now it's back to 11. Double-digit spread para sa Quezon Huskers. Pumoposte sa ilalim si Chino Mosqueda laban kay Diego Dario, and Jegs called for that foul.
Now what you gotta like also with ito si Chino Mosqueda. Ang haba ng mga minuto nito pero hindi mo nararamdaman napapagod. Diba? Right now, after going 25, 26 minutes the previous game, he is right now playing for 23 minutes.
Credos 3 short. Zamboanga misfiring from the outside here in the fourth.
And they slow it down, they go to their half-court set.
Both teams though, 8 out of 28 from beyond the arc. 29% shooting from free. But the major difference for Quezon has been the number of steals that they've had. 7 steals and also 12 turnovers by Zamboanga, leading to +8 in terms of points off turnovers and +6 in fast break points.
And which is a result of 4 more perimeter makes itong Quezon than that of itong Zamboanga.
11 pa rin ang lamang. Gabanal, libre para sa 3. Mintis. Credo. Atake. Natapik ni Simon Sandagon. Credo still has the basketball to James Una, who slides in. Wala pa din. The struggle continues for Zamboanga. Under 4 minutes left. Mosqueda trying to create a situation, and he was able to fish a foul. Diego Dario called for his 3rd foul. Fuentes, Tamsi replacing Dario and Yero. Gino Mosqueda back at the line, who was also fielded in by Coach Eric Gonzalez. Papalitan niya muna si Simon Sandagon. Itong free throw na ito, atid sa atin ng Extreme Appliances ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Mosqueda with 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Or actually 8 points. Nine, 6, and 4 for Chino Mosqueda. (60-51). Gonzalez using that Gab Banal screen. Again, Banal in stride. The pass to the corner. Tamsi, no good. Good intention by Credo, but the active hands of Quezon disrupting their transition attempt. And now they're forced into a half-court set.
Kita mo, hindi talaga nila pinapakawalan si si JP Kawilan
Kita mo gaano aktibo sila, no, in playing
Yeah.
the passing lanes. And Zamboanga, as a result, just very timid in their approach. They're not finding the gaps. And Quezon extending their lead to 11.
And the minutes is sobrang taas na. As you see that turnover again, another point of turnover para dito sa Quezon Huskers. They right now are a +10 and that stat line, and the more mistakes that Zamboanga commits, all the more they pay for it.
That's a very important matchup, especially if they end up losing this game. Talking about Zamboanga, kalaban nila ang Caloocan. And if they drop their last 2 assignments, they could very well be forced to go through the play-in because the teams below them, all of those beat them in the regular season. Gensan, Basilan, Binyan, and Mindoro.
Correct. At saka ang ano niyan, if they fall in the play-in, let's say they get out of it and they become team number 8, this is exactly the team that they will go up against, the Quezon Huskers. They're the number 1 team in the South. So you gotta go through that again. Now, if you're the other bottom teams trying to chase up in the play-in, you see this drive right here. Kita naman yung ward off doon, yeah. Clearly extended that left arm to try and create space against Tamsi. Eh kung ikaw naman ang ibang team na nasa baba, nalalaban sa play-in sa Zamboanga, alam mo na, galing to sa taas na punta sa baba. No? So medyo, worry ka din.
Una with a steal. Zamboanga needs to find that spark.
And they still have time. Oh, wow. I thought he could have taken that.
Kawilan has been tentative here in the fourth quarter.
Matter of fact, every time he gets that ball from the 3, he's not looking at the rim. He's looking at his teammates.
Michael Ares shot. Not close. Mosqueda barreling to Vince Magbuhos. Di naman sadya, no? Pero Magbuhos visibly hurt after hitting that standee there.
And that was full force. Chino Mosqueda landing on Vince Magbuhos. That was a full speed chase for the ball down on the deep corner, the right side.
Ang bola sa Zamboanga pa din, no? Yeah.
Oh, sa Zamboanga pa rin ang bola.
Very important possession here as we head into the last 2 minutes in regulation. Mosqueda. Now it's with Capobres. Capobres just...
Tough shot.
That was just out of control.
You got to credit the defense. You know, there was no space on that right side. Everything on the left. That was the only thing that was given by the Huskers that moment for Alvin Capobres.
You know, as impressive as Zamboanga has been here this season, Coach Mike, they turned a lot of heads when they almost beat Nueva Ecija in Palayan City. But when you look at their record, they've only beaten 1 team in the top of the South, and that was Batangas.
Yes.
They all lost to Rizal, Gensan, Basilan, Binyan, Mindoro, and unless they make a comeback here, this looks like another loss against the Quezon Huskers naman.
And if you look at, again, I talked about this top of the conference. Their first 15 games, 13-2. Could have been a 15-0 if not for the 2-point loss against Imos and another 2-point loss against Mindoro. Now, after they won against Batangas by 5, and that was their 15th game, they were taking on Nueva Ecija, Bataan, Pasay, and then Pasay. Imagine if they won against Nueva Ecija. That would have been 17-0 and you beat the top team in the North. And so this would have been a good confidence boost.
Kung free throw na ito, din sa ating Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
This would have been a good confidence boost heading into the more difficult games later on. But unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way for the Zamboanga Sika. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, kung ikaw man ang nasa ilalim at alam mong parating pababa papuntang play nitong Zamboanga, you know you gotta gear up because this is a team that actually belonged to the top, in the top-ranked teams early this season, and you cannot take them lightly.
And that question remains for them. When the game slows down and they're forced into a half-court game, how will they execute? Especially going up against the top defensive teams like Quezon, who really, especially from the second quarter onwards, because we saw Zamboanga get off to a hot start behind those barrage of threes. They had 6 in the first quarter. But ever since Quezon clamped down on the defensive end, played those passing lanes, forced a lot of live turnovers, Zamboanga just really had a hard time recovering from here on out.
Agree. At saka again, I'm gonna go back to how I observe most of the teams here this season. If you're a three-point shot-making team on the offensive end, you shoot below 32% or 33% from three, you gotta make your free throws. Because if you don't, a good probability you're gonna lose games. And why do I say that? They get the volume free throws because if you make your threes, it's gonna generate closeout. So mas open yung atake sa loob. Mas prone ka sa foul.
And for Quezon, Coach Mike, you know, the theme for them this season, whether it's wins or losses, you never feel that they are out of it.
Agree.
Even if they're down by, like against Nueva Ecija, they were down by 18.
Agree.
And yet, because of the way they stuck to the game plan, the way they still continue to play within their game, they were able to just weather the storm and found a way to hang around, and in the end stole that one away from the Rice Vanguards. And in similar fashion as well against San Juan, wherein they gave up a lot of free throws, they foul a lot. That's probably one thing that they need to work on. But man, this Quezon team could be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs.
And much as coaches would always say we play with who we have, you can't just turn your heads on the unavailability of guys like Roy Sumang, Ichi Altamirano, Carl Brian Cruz, and amongst the other players who normally would have a good partnership with Chino Mosqueda. But then again, in this game, the Huskers showed that they play both ends of the floor with a lot of consistency. They will win games.
Quezon Huskers looking as sharp as ever, cruise to their 9th straight victory at the expense of the Zamboanga Sikat Families brand sardines. And they remain at the top of the South Division. And our best player of the game, this guy, cool as ice, Judel Fuentes. Binasic lang itong larong ito, Coach Mike.
Actually, halos kung titignan mo parang effortless pagdating dito kay Judel Fuentes, but he just really stays active. Either guarding against the guys he has to defend, anticipating passing lanes, getting steals, and he's just been that additional firepower para dito sa Quezon Huskers.
Final score, 54 for Zamboanga, 64 for the Quezon Huskers. Puntahan natin at courtside si Miss Andrea Endicio.
Maraming salamat, Ken. First of all, Judel, congratulations. Dikit pa ang naging laban during the first half, but come the third quarter, doon ka nagising, and along with you, ginising mo rin ang iyong mga teammates, leading to a huge lead and of course to this win.
Actually, nagising talaga kami lahat kasi nung halftime, sumigaw na si Coach Kaya yun na talaga, parang nabuhayan yung mga teammates ko, pati kami ako. And yun, pagdating sa second half, talagang nagtrabaho at ginawa yung tamang depensa.
But the good thing is, you ended the regular season on a high note plus an 8-game winning streak. Gaano kalaking bagay iyon para sa iyong koponan?
Siyempre, papalapit na yung playoffs kaya ngayon, last game namin to sa elimination So yung playoffs, so next month pa yun. So mababa yung preparation para sa playoffs. So kailangan namin paghandaan yung kung sino yung matatapat sa amin sa playoffs. So kailangan madala namin yung momentum namin pagdating sa playoffs.
And I'm sure aabangan niya ng iyong mga fans. Do you have any greetings or shoutouts? Go ahead.
Thank you kay Lord sa binigay niyang panalo, and also thank you kay Governor Helen Tan, kay Boss RD, Kong Mike, and kay Doc Kim, kay Mayor Ralph Lim, and hi to Malik, Kobe, and Kalex, and sa mama papa ko sa Davao, sa asawa ko, sa dalawang anak ko, si Matean, si Mateo, and kay Kiano, and sa kuya ko nasa Davao, and sa Bakmi Mawa, Bakmi Davao, Bakmi Makati, and sa lahat ng mga pastors sa Jensan, sa Pulumulok, and sa Matina, sa Pandaitan, sa Tibungol. Thank
Once again, that was Jodel Fuentes, our best player of the game. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Andrea. Congratulations to Quezon. Still number 1 in the South. Pero Rizal gustong makuha yung number 2 spot. Pero makakalaban nila on the road, the Pangasinan Heatwaves. Huwag kayong aalis. Keep it here on the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.